Assalamu alaikum, Sana ji, and
Walaikum
namaste,
assalam.
and kia ora to
Namaste.
everybody from Auckland, and thank you so much मुझे आज invite करने के लिए इस topic पे बात करने के लिए.
It's my honor because हमने आज हमारा ये फर्स्ट प्रोग्राम है डॉक्टर संध्या जो कि वॉइस ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलियंस प्रोग्राम प्लेटफॉर्म है और बहुत ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ये देखा जाता है, तो हमने न्यूजीलैंड के साथ कनेक्शन करवाया है कि थोड़ी सी कोलैबोरेशन की जाए, न्यूजीलैंड और ऑस्ट्रेलियंस को कनेक्ट किया जाए आपस में. एंड आई एम ऑनर्ड कि
ये
आप.
देखो, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है क्योंकि एक्चुअली मैं सिडनी से हूँ. मैं ऑस्ट्रेलियन,
दैट्स ग्रेट.
ये मेरी पैदाइश इंडिया में थी, लेकिन जब से मैं 3 महीने की थी मैं सिडनी में रह रही हूँ, और पिछले 13 years के लिए से हम ऑकलैंड में हैं. सो दैट्स an excellent platform, and I'm very happy to be the introductory show.
Delta की. So how contagious is this as compared to Delta variant? Because being a non-clinical person, तो मुझे नहीं पता कि डेल्टा में क्या था या ओमिक्रॉन में क्या है, and how it is different from that. तो आम लोगों की समझ के लिए मतलब आप इसको कैसे एक्सप्लेन करेंगी कि क्या कैसे ये कंटेजियस है एज कम्पेयर टू
आपको
डेल्टा?
एक्सप्लेन कर सकती हूँ कि जो
Sure.
कोविड वायरस है ये थोड़ा सा इस बॉल की तरह लगता है, ठीक है, स्ट्रक्चर में. तो ये जो है इस वायरस पार्टिकल है, इसमें एक प्रोटीन शेल होता है, अंदर एक स्ट्रैंड आरएनए होता है जिसकी इसकी जेनेटिक मटेरियल होता है, ठीक है, और उसकी सरफेस पे ये होते हैं ये स्पाइक प्रोटीन्स, ठीक है, और ऊपर से एक फैटी लेयर होता है. So initially, at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't know much about the virus. तो पहले जो उन्होंने कहा कि hand hygiene, washing hands for 20
Right.
seconds is really important. ये इस वजह से है कि पहले उन्होंने सोचा कि ज़्यादातर जो ट्रांसमिशन है वो ड्रॉपलेट के थ्रू होते हैं, जैसे कि आपकी
हो रही है.
हाँ, जो कोई खांसता है या छींकता है या आप अपने हाथों पे ये सरफेस ट्रांसमिशन से आप अगर ये वायरस अपने आंख या नाक या मुंह को छुएंगे तो ये वायरस एंटर होगा. तो इसलिए अगर आपके हाथ पे कोई वायरस है, अगर आप 20 सेकंड के लिए साबुन से हाथ धोएंगे या आप सैनिटाइजर इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो वो जो फैटी लेयर है वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगा और ये वायरस डीएक्टिवेट हो जाएगा, ठीक है. जैसे ये लेकिन अब हमें पता है अब कि ये वायरस ज्यादातर एरोसोल्स में स्प्रेड होता है, यानी कि जो लोग इवन जैसे हम वैसे सांस ले रहे हैं या बात कर रहे हैं कमरे में, तो ऐसे जैसे आप स्प्रे कैन से अगर आप देख सकते हैं कि जो जैसे फाइन स्प्रे होता है, ऐसे ही फाइन स्प्रे, यानी कि आप स्मोक भी समझ सकते हैं, जो सिगरेट स्मोक, कि हम सब we are emitting this fine spray of these particles and they remain suspended हवा में.
Right.
और particularly in an enclosed room, और जो ज्यादा लोग होते हैं और जो ज्यादा टाइम के लिए होते हैं तो वो पार्टिकल्स जो है एक कमरे में कॉन्सेंट्रेट हो जाता है. तो अगर उस कमरे में काफी लोग हैं और अगर आप मास्क भी पहन रखें, अगर वो मास्क वेल फिटेड नहीं हो तो आपको you might still get inhale enough of these viral particles to get an infection. और इसीलिए अब वेंटिलेशन की बात हो रही है कि जैसे अगर आप विंडोज खोलेंगे और आप फ्रेश एयर को अंदर लाएंगे or you use an air filter, air purifier to filter the air, and you have flowing air, you use a fan and push it out, point it out the window, then that will decrease the viral load of the room. तो अब काफी चीजों के बारे में सोचना है. Now ये जो वायरस है, ये जो स्पाइक प्रोटीन है, this is a key, ठीक है, और जो लॉक है ये हमारे जो आंख या नाक या मुंह और बॉडी के अंदर there is an ACE2 receptor, and this spike protein hooks into that ACE2 receptor, enters our cell and uses our genetic material to replicate, ठीक है. क्योंकि alone ये वायरस हमें कुछ it can't harm us, लेकिन सिर्फ जब वो हमारे सिस्टम में एंटर होता है
तो डिफरेंट बॉडीज के साथ रिएक्ट करके देन
no, that's how it hijacks our cells, ठीक है. और जो वैक्सीन है, so vaccines are just, I mean, they are not a live virus. They're not a live vaccine. They are simply a little piece of, genetic material which tells our body to produce this, to recognize this spike protein. यानी कि ये जो spike protein है, जैसे कि इस वायरस का जो नंबर प्लेट है, ठीक है? तो हमारा बॉडी, जब हम वैक्सीनेट होते हैं तो हमें इंजेक्शन होता है और फिर 2-3 दिन बाद हमारा सिस्टम उस इंजेक्शन को, वैक्सीन को डिस्ट्रॉय करता है, लेकिन इस बीच में हमें वो याद रहता है कि अच्छा ये स्पाइक प्रोटीन कुछ ऐसे लगता है, ठीक है? और फिर जब वायरस हम इफ वी मीट द वायरस, देन उस हमारा इम्यून सिस्टम को पता है कि अच्छा नहीं, ये ठीक नहीं है, हमें इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स माउंट करना है और उस वायरस को डिस्ट्रॉय करना है,
फाइट बैक करना है, राइट।
अब आप वेरिएंट्स की बात कर रहे हैं, तो अगर आप देखिए तो जो ओरिजिनल जो वैक्सीन्स थे वर टारगेटेड टू द ओरिजिनल स्ट्रेन, और फिर डेल्टा आया और अब ओमिक्रॉन आया। हाँ, तो जैसे कि वो आप समझ सकते हैं कि वो अभी भी वो लाइसेंस प्लेट वो देख सकते हैं, लेकिन जैसे कि शायद थोड़ा सा इसमें ऑब्स्क्यूर हो गया है पार्ट ऑफ द लेटर, लेकिन फिर भी वो रिकग्नाइज करके वो इन्फेक्शन को, it is preventing people from having severe infection requiring hospitalization. ठीक है? And that is the main job of the vaccines. There are very few vaccines which have a sterilizing immunity. और उसका मतलब कि वो आप कभी infect ही नहीं हो सकते हैं उस immunization के बाद. So that's basically, you know, you understand.
नहीं, जबरदस्त, क्योंकि विजुअल से जो एक्सप्लेनेशन है, you can't do that through verbal. So it is amazing.
Mask game. We have to improve the effectiveness of our mask. But you need to remember that a mask is better than no mask, and the mask needs to be a well-fitted mask. So you might wear the most, you know, effective N95, but if it's not fitted well, then that's not going to give you very good protection. So you've probably heard this term N95. So that refers to masks, and another name for them is P2 masks, which is a common name in Australia and New Zealand. And these are the ones you see doctors wear. They look like this, and doctors get it fit. Yeah, they have these straps that go around your head, and they have foam that molds to your nose, and it goes under your chin, and it forms a very tight seal. One of the elastics is at the top of your crown of your head, and the other one behind your neck. Now, these N95 refers to the fact that they block, you know, over 95% of these small viral particles. Okay, now these ones, you know, are the sort of ones that doctors wear. There are a few different types available on the market. They have the KN95, which is a Chinese grade N95, and it looks a little bit like this. And these are quite easy to find, but you have to be careful because there are some counterfeit ones, and these have loops on either side that go like this. The other one that is quite easy to find are these Korean ones, which are called KF94, and they look a little bit like this. Okay, so these are you know, good masks, and they can be reused. So you can't wash these masks because the reason they're very effective is fibers inside the filter have an electrostatic charge, which basically traps the virus particles. So it's very important.
And can we reuse that one?
You can reuse them for general community use. It's good to have, you know, 3 to 5 masks, and, you know, label them for each day of the week. Then have a paper bag and a little hanger at home with pegs. And then after you use it, just peg that Monday's mask in the Monday bag. And then next Monday you can use it again. So you can't use any mask that's damp. And once it's visibly soiled, then you need to get rid of it. Usually the first thing that goes is the elastics. So when the elastics are loose, then you should get rid of it. But generally you can get probably 5 wears out of each mask using it that way in a community setting. And you might, you know, it probably needs about 3 to 4 days in between to dry out. Now, your surgical mask is the next best option. And these are blue, usually on the outside, which is the waterproof layer. So that's the outer layer, and it has a wire side, which is the top side for your nose, and the bottom side that goes under your chin. The problem with these masks, especially for children, is that they tend to be quite big on your face, okay? So if you look on my face, there's all these big gaps below and to the side. Now, in that same video, I showed some simple tricks or mask hacks. One of the most simple ones is putting a knot on either side of the mask, folding it in half. And this is good for children and, you know, people with small faces. And then getting each side and tucking it in like this, okay? So it looks something like this, and then you put it back on your face, and then you just smooth those folds. See how this is now fitting my face and creating a much better seal around my nose and my mouth, so not allowing virus particles to enter. Another thing you can do is put a cloth mask over the top of a surgical mask to improve the fit. Now, depending on if you're just going to a shop briefly, or, even for children, because comfort is a very important thing. For my children, I found these very good cloth masks online. If you get a cloth mask, make sure it's at least 2 or 3 layers and it has a filter pocket. So if you can put in a filter, you can buy 2.5 filters, in the shops. Or you can even sometimes insert a surgical mask as a filter. And again, it should be very well fitted. See this mask, it goes under the chin and it has a wire to mold to my nose. So, this cloth mask with the filter is probably better for me than the surgical mask with no, folding. So, yeah, there are a lot of options in terms of masks, but the key thing is wear a well-fitted mask, and particularly when you're in indoor, poorly ventilated locations. So if you were to go to, a high-risk setting, then I would choose, where there's a lot of crowd, I would choose your, N95.
So, N95. Yeah.
Or KF96.
No, that's great for, So no, that's great for kids to have that folding, because otherwise it's very loose and it's not fulfilling the purpose.
Because these masks were originally, they're mainly designed to protect the other person from your droplets. So these are not really designed to filter those tiny, tiny little, aerosolized particles.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why, and the benefit of reducing that is because the less particles we inhale, the less severe the infection, even if we do get infected. First of all, if you get vaccinated, then you will need to inhale more of these particles compared to an unvaccinated person to lead to an infection. But if I wear a well-fitted mask as opposed to a loose mask, then by decreasing the number of viral particles that I've allowed to enter my system, that's less particles that I'm allowing access to my cells to then replicate and create millions of copies to give me a more severe infection. So reducing viral dose is really important, and is one of the things we have to learn as we learn to live with COVID. So it's about learning to manage your risk and learning to always try and keep your viral load, dose reduced.